Hello everyone, I'm Tommy from Green Aqua and I'm here at Tropica to answer the most Googled questions about aquascaping. So, I've never done this and I haven't seen any of these, so I'm gonna be an amateur. Just rip it off. Okay. And I just throw these around. So, what is aquascaping and why is it popular? Well, aquascaping is a bit like gardening or painting underwater in an aquarium, or best put it, the mixture of the two. We are creating art and we are creating landscapes or underwater scapes in aquariums with live plants and proper hardscape decoration, not all those plastic stuff. And I think this is why it's popular, because it brings nature closer to you and everyone. It's just having live stuff and having nature in your home. That's what's popular about it. I'm gonna do it better for the second one. What are the essential components needed for an aquascape? Well, an aquarium, the glass itself, light, proper light, the plants need it, proper filtration, maybe CO2, but it's already depending on the type of plants you want to use, and whatever you put in it that makes your aquascape, that means hardscape and plants. You might think fish are essential, but I believe those are an addition to the scape, complementing what you've built. You would think I get better at this, but I don't. What are common problems in aquascaping and how to fix them? I believe there are three main issues. The first one is building the scape itself. You need to figure out how to look at an aquascape to be able to build it. You need to be creative to build the proper hardscape itself. The second one is getting the plant to grow the way you want them and getting them healthy, which means providing perfect amount of nutrients, providing CO2 if they need, providing proper light. The third one is algae, which comes and goes. Doesn't matter how good you are, you're gonna have algae. It's one of the biggest challenges, but if you do your studying and you look into the topic properly, you find the solution as well. And that's how you fix them. You read and you watch videos and you get good information about how to do this. What is the best way to prevent algae in an aquascape? That's a tough one. The two main things you need to make sure that is good is your filtration, and I would say a lot of people go wrong with the lighting intensity and the length the lights are on. But it's actually a much more proper maintenance, proper fertilization and so on, but filtration and the lights, I believe those are the two main issues. What are popular aquascaping styles? There are a bunch of them that are actually like named as styles, and there are a lot of things that are not even named. If I look at the two main categories, we have the really like NA style, nature aquarium style stuff. That is the classic way to do. And then there is the more creative style where you don't necessarily replicate an underwater scene and you go a bit crazy with your imagination. You build something that defies gravity, for example. These are the two main groups. Under this, you have specific styles like Iwagumi, which is about rock formations with usually a single type of plant, and the light goes off. Oh, so we have lights again. So I was at Iwagumi, which is a rock formation with usually monospecies planting around or just a few plants. Then there is Ryoboku, which is mainly built with wood pieces, representing underwater scenes. There's the Dutch style, which is plant heavy, basically no hardscape in it, just the plants. What else? There's the Brazilian style, which is an iwagumi with a bunch of different types of plants and usually very colorful, lots of orange and reddish tones besides the greens, and a lot more, which don't really have a name. So what is the ideal lighting schedule for an aquascape? A usual recommendation is 7 hours a day and in one segment. There is a debate about this, not everyone agrees, but what we usually say as the plants have a daily cycle just like you do. You wake up, you perform for a certain amount of hours, and then you go to sleep. We like to give the same for our plants, and in our experience, 7 hours is the ideal spot. You can balance out light intensity with the length of lighting period to a certain extent. We usually say that even if you have a low power lighting, you should never go over 8.5, 9 hours, but the sweet spot is around 7. Next one, please. Thank you. How do I start aquascaping for beginners? Again, read and watch and learn as much as you can. The worst thing you can do, and I think this goes for basically any kind of hobby, is jumping into it without proper information. That way you're gonna buy everything twice. You're gonna buy something that is not good and replace it over time. And you're gonna have a lot worse experience for the first time. You won't have success. You won't fulfill what you want. Yeah, just do your research before starting. How do you maintain a healthy aquascape environment? Through maintenance. That's the biggest thing about it. Do your routine properly. What we recommend is 50% water change once a week for any kind of aquarium. There are different types of routines with less water change, less frequent, and so on. Whatever you do, follow that properly and check if that routine works for your aquarium. Don't get to the point where you start panicking because you have a lot of algae. Look at your aquarium and see if there is a problem starting to develop, and don't get to the point where it's an actual problem already. How does CO2 affect pH in an aquascape? It lowers it. There's not much else to say. If you add CO2, your pH drops. How often should I trim plants in my aquascape? That highly depends on the plants you use. I believe that one of the main reasons why I love iwagumi so much is that I'm lazy. And in iwagumis, if you use the proper type of plants, you basically never need to trim. Same goes for epiphyte plants, which are slow growing. If you get into using stem plants, most of them are quite quick, and you might end up with an aquarium that you need to trim every week, which is not a problem, but you need to be prepared for it, and you need to choose your plants up ahead by dedicating yourself for the trimming routine needed. Here comes the whys. I have a 3-year-old. I'm good at these kind of questions. Why is aquascaping a challenging but rewarding hobby? I don't think it's just aquascaping, it's any hobby. If you want to do it good, it's going to be challenging, and if you can come across a challenge and face it and win, then that's going to be rewarding. I believe with aquascaping, you can easily set a goal for yourself. You probably get into the hobby by looking at other aquariums which you want to replicate, or just you are inspired by them and you want to achieve something that looks similar to those. And when you get it, it's really rewarding. The journey itself, that's the challenging part, because like any other hobby, you need to learn how to do it, and it's not definitely as easy as you would think. Just keep working. Why is CO2 injection important for planted aquascapes? Some of the plants need high concentration of CO, relatively high concentration of CO2 to develop properly. That's one side of it. The other is, as we mentioned, that it drops your pH. That's usually helpful for the whole environment of the tank. Lower pH is something that most plants like. And CO2 also challenges algae. Algae doesn't like CO2 that much, so it's easier to set your tank in a balance when you add CO2. Why do some aquascapers choose not to use CO2? While it helps your plant growth, it quickens your plant growth as well. So when you start adding CO2, everything is going to be quicker. You're going to have to add more fertilizers, which if you overdo, might end up growing algae in your tank. That's a bit simplified, but that's where it can actually lead. So a lot of people want to keep it simple. They don't want the quick growth. They don't want to use so much fertilizer and get into the risky side of that with algae. So it's simplicity, but your choice of plants, the range of plants that you can choose from, it's much smaller.
Last one, special round.
All kinds of questions mixed. Green Aqua round, okay. How does Green Aqua recommend cycling a new aquarium? A basic recommendation, and I always put this for clients, like if the closer you follow this, the least amount of problems you're going to have in the first 2, 3, 4 months. So, daily water change on the first week, every second day on the second week, 2 times on the third week, and then once a week from there till the end of the tank. But the cycling is the first 3 weeks. When I say water change, it's always 50%. And again, not a lot of people do this word by word, but the closer you get to this, the easier your job is going to be in the first few months. What awards or recognition has Green Aqua received? None. I mean, yeah, we are popular amongst aquascapers. A lot of people visit our shop just because they have seen our work on YouTube, and that's a huge recognition in itself. If you mean recognition like something like this that I could put on the wall, we haven't. Who can benefit most from Green Aqua's aquascaping tutorials? We try to make the videos in a way that they can be useful for both newcomers who have never touched a plant in their life and never filled an aquarium, up to professionals who have been doing this for about 10 years. We try to make content for them as well and teach them new tricks and tips, mostly through our guests who are high-ranking competitors in the aquascaping world, or just people who are very much recognized in the hobby. And even us, I've been doing this for, I don't even know, 13, 14 years now, and I can still learn from our guests. So yeah, for everyone. Why are Green Aqua's video tutorials so popular? I believe because of the previous question, because it goes for everyone can learn from them, and probably the quality. I believe that we have set a very high bar for the quality of our videos, so I think that's the key. That's it. Yep. Thank you everyone for watching this. Thanks to Tropica for inviting me to do this. And well, I almost said see you next time, because that's what I see. If you watch the Green Aqua YouTube channel, then see you next time. If not, thanks again. Goodbye.
Dobrze.